Good stuff. Well, welcome everyone. Just double checking that we are 100%. Yeah, good. So welcome everyone again to the third episode of Navah's podcast live. And this week I have the amazing privilege of having my mate Rory Green with us. How you doing, Rory?
I'm sound, mate. As you gave permission.
Oh, it's a good beer too.
Do you know what Pride and Joy is?
What? I mean, I know it's a nice pale ale, but
yeah, oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. You've heard of it, then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We get it in the co-op down the road. It's great.
Underrated. By the way, viewers, I don't normally drink too much, but I've just worked out, had a shower, not giving you my life story, like, and then nice little cold ale.
Whereas I'm the image of health, so I've got water.
Always have to trump me, don't you, mate? That's why I got the British flag out, mate.
Wow, I can't beat that. Should have a Welsh one maybe, but anyway. Moving swiftly on. Mate, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, yeah.
Essentially, we just want to have a conversation around life. You know, obviously, the last couple of months have been really bizarre. None of us have, in our lifetimes have ever experienced anything like this. And hopefully we'll never experience something like this ever again in our lifetimes, But lockdown obviously has been difficult for some people. It's been great for others, been mixed or whatever, And it's just the whole idea of this podcast is just to get different perspectives on things. And so the last 2 weeks we've had creatives in terms of musicians on. So they've been singing songs. So I'm looking forward to your contribution.
No. You're not getting me to sing, mate. I'll send all your viewers back to whatever they want to do for the rest of the night.
Excellent. No, not at all. But so you're not a musician. So this is our first week where we've had a non-musician on, which is amazing. So can you tell us what do you do?
In my defense, I do mix, and I did a little set for you guys at that youth event in your church. So I'll drop that one in there. But
you did, and it was awesome too.
Yeah, it was class. It just I fell in love with your community so much more. But what do I do to answer the question? So at the minute, I'm waiting to go into a new job, and I have done since the start of the lockdown. So my background is specialising in young people and children. I've worked in the children's homes where you could potentially be dealing with like grooming gangs, knife crime, lots of neglect, drug, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. So I've witnessed it all first-hand account. Yeah, and then worked in a primary school for a couple of years in a real tough demographic in Nottingham. Absolutely loved it. Loved every second of it. Got involved with politics for a few months because I thought it was broken, and then job done for me. And so coming into February, March time, as we've started the transition period of the B word, which we won't go into too much to put off people. I was out of work. So applied for all these jobs with all the skills that I've got in the areas I've just described, mate. And nothing would happen. No doors would open per se, apart from one, which was, well, I call it the plastic police, which is the community protection officers. So yes. I'm really looking forward to it, mate. And I've just been patiently waiting over this lockdown period to start it. So that's what I'm venturing into. So yeah, it's all good.
Nice. Very cool. It's exciting. New venture. I like it. You should be pretty well prepped for that with the background and stuff you've been doing. So
yeah. You're gonna be dealing with people in everyday life in the city centre, and I just think it's about relating to people. I feel like, and it's not to slag them off, I feel like they've got a slight bad reputation, some of them, because they're not verbally de-escalating. They're not getting on people's levels as well as they probably could. And I think that's the topic of this week, with the authorities bridging gaps rather than breaking them. So I think it's a big thing in my heart that I'm just excited to do. And with all my past experiences, bring that in, lots of conflict management. And that's my heart, mate. Just get on people's level and work together to an outcome. That's what it's about for me. So yeah,
amazing. I think you'd be so good at that. One of the things that struck me about you, Rory, when we first met was how interested you are in somebody when you're talking to them. You give them. I remember you just asking questions about me all the time, like, oh, what about, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this, and you just want to go deep and nothing. You're not a superficial guy. Like, I don't think you're satisfied with superficial.
I think that goes back to my childhood, and I was very insular in my early years, and satisfied with my own company for hours. Kids today, you need butling service at home to keep you satisfied, whereas I was just one of these kids that got on with it. And I learned to be comfortable in my own company, and I feel like, as well, as I did become more extroverted, I'm a bit of a madhead, but I feel like superficial talk can only get you so far. Talk is a bit cheap, and particularly as I've transitioned to adulthood, like in the pubs and walking even into the Christian faith at the age of 2021, which maybe 10 years this week, actually. I just see so much partiality, people wearing masks, as I call it. Yeah, man, I love banter. I love having a good time, but I just feel like so many people yearn actually for that deeper relational sense of just talking to one another, and I love it. I go deep as anyone's allowing it to go, in terms you can gauge it, can't you? So like, that's just how I am. I can't. Yeah, small talk. Hey, how are you? Yeah, oh, good. Weather's all right. Yeah, weather. Yeah, and it's just like, so we're gonna actually talk about anything real meaningful. But everyone's different, so I'm not going to slag off the weather lovers.
You got to start somewhere in the conversation, all right? So yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I don't like go up to people, freak them out by going, yeah. So what's the meaning of life?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should try it. Like, who knows? Yeah. I think that's what I like about not comparing you to Jesus, but this characteristic. I think we all have character. When you decide to follow Jesus, we have characteristics of him. Or well, I would hope we do. And that's one of the things I love about the stories with Jesus in the Bible, how he interacts with people. It's never superficial, always going a bit deeper. And I think it's a real challenge for us, to, especially in a season of like, when you're looking at things like depression and mental health issues, it's so easy to just fob people off with, yeah, I'm good, when they say, how are you? But I guess the challenge is to like look someone in the eye and be like, no, like, how are you? Like, and just just not accept the superficial answer and push a little deeper. And sometimes it's painful for people, but it's needed, But
definitely, I feel like it's got to go on what the person's willing to give you. Like, Jesus is a gentleman. He always allowed whatever he wanted to give, which is everything, as much as the person allowed. And some people just aren't ready to communicate like on that deep level, as we were referring to earlier. Like, some people don't even know how to communicate the state of mind that they do struggle with into words. And you find that at all ages. I've worked with children, and I've spent a lot of time on helping adults. Like, the funny thing is we find it hard to actually use a vocabulary or even the language about where we're at. But for me, it's about two things that Jesus had. And I don't mind talking about Jesus, talk about him all day because he's great. No wrong with him. Is empathy and perceiving thought. So the Bible says Jesus perceived their thoughts. I'm like, oh, that's deep, man. Like, I want to get to that level, not where I'm like have the intellect of God, because it'd be too overwhelming. But that sense of perceiving people's thoughts, where you can gauge how much they want to give accurately, so you don't cause damage or you don't push something that they ain't ready for. You find with people, as I said earlier, like, if they're ready or not, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force them to drink. And I feel like people at different stages of their life. So yeah, man, I just love the way he rolled. The haters came, they came to kill him, walked straight through him. Even like xenophobia and racism, like, which is a big thing right now, with the Samaritan woman. He made people kick off because he was just such a radical of the day, but he had that empathy, and he looked at everyone with just utter equality. And I think that's what we're lacking today. People need Jesus, obviously. People should, turn away from their selfish ways and follow his example and have eternal life. But I think there's a lot that people don't understand about Jesus, and if they just read and took his example, it would be like, man, the world would just be like such a better place, and we wouldn't see nowhere near the madness that we see right now today. So yeah, man, empathy and perceiving those thoughts. Not mind reading, but
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's really cool, man. Really, really poignant. Yeah, I like that. I think, like you said, Jesus is like this really cool guy to follow. And I've had this conversation with people where they're like, you believe in God, but how do you know? And it's faith. But then I'm like, do you know what? Even if it is a load of nonsense, is basing my life trying to live like this guy Jesus, is that a wasted life? Even if it's not true? Like, I don't think so. The guy, he was a good guy. Like, whether you believe he was God or not, and choosing to live a life the way that he taught, whether you believe it or not, I'm down. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, we don't like a full gospel preach on it, and I am an evangelist. That is my gift. But why have people got such a bad problem with Jesus? Like, he creates the most plethora of responses. Like, I've seen it in my life in many different ways where I've pitched it in different styles, profiles, whatever, and you can't explain the ranges of reactions. I've never seen any subject matter or any person have such a reaction to it, and yet I don't understand the beef, so to say. I don't get it. Like, read about the man, check him out with an open heart, open mind, not saying whether Christianity is true or it's not. Just read it with a blank canvas and see what problem you really have with him. I mean, he stuck it on people. He did say, you've turned the house of prayer to den of thieves. He flipped tables. He did have that wild side to him, but and he rebuked the religious folk rightly, the people who thought they were righteous and good in God's eyes. But my gosh, if we just had just read and followed, yeah, they wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
we're going deep, aren't we?
It's good. I love it. It's so good, man. So good. I love deep. That's great. So I want to backtrack a bit with you, Rory. So one thing is, I think our viewers are going to be, it's going to come across quite obvious, is that you're already passionate about it. Like you say, your gifting is evangelism, and you say you've been a Christian coming up 10 years.
Yeah.
So tell us how, how did that happen? And, did you come from a Christian home? Have you ever been a part of, the Christian faith at all before? And how did it all happen?
Yeah. I'll just say to you, people who is watching right now, strap your seatbelts on, man, because this is gonna be a ride. So, wow, yeah, I'll cut it, because my testimony, which is my story about where I've come from to, receiving Jesus, as we've said, and then to like today, it can be a bit of a long one. So I'll trim it down. I'll crop it. Yeah, as you asked, no Christian influence from friends or parents. I did go to a C of E school, Church of England school, but there was nothing pressing, nothing that was there. It was just a lot of atheism, which is just, I don't believe that there is a God. And I got to like my teenage years, and football was my obsession. My dad left when I was about 7 years old. So my mum had me growing up with my brother and sister, single parent, but she just did an amazing job, man, raising us and caring for us and providing the best for us. And yeah, I just all that pain that I had from my childhood and my dad not being around, I just pushed it down, tried to ignore it, and just use football as my outlet. And so I played at Peterborough United and Nottingham Forest as a kid, literally from the age of 9 up, in and out, different academies and centre of excellences and trials, all the way up to about 16. Yeah, just early teenage years as well, just engaging in things that I guess quite a lot of teenagers do, but adults turn a blind eye to. you know, sex, drinking, pornography, all these things that the world is there just like wanting to just give you and satisfy you with. And it did, like, it satisfied me. But I call it the void. Like, when I did have it and it was a buzz and it was gone, I was empty, man. And that's that void that those things couldn't fill. But no, I carried on, you know, as people do, pushing it aside. And I went to the United States on a soccer scholarship in 2007 up to 2011. And I went into North Carolina. So that is where, you know, people's like, God this, God that. And I'm just like, whoa, man, this is, nah, I don't like this. No, this is freaking me out. And churches everywhere and all this stuff. So yeah, it was really intense. And, you know, it took me 20 years to get to that point where, let's just say secretly, I was beginning to allow an openness in my heart to God. So yeah, a wild journey, mate. But yeah.
Amazing. North Carolina, eh?
So North Quackalaki. Yeah, I love that state. I love it.
Yeah.
Just amazing people, man. Amazing people. So hospitable and caring and loving. And that's what broke the hardness in my heart, was the love and the non-judgmental attitude of the people. Being British did help, don't get me wrong. It just opened up a door naturally. But I couldn't understand it at first. Why do they love me? Why are they hugging me? why it was a bit like too much, but I just couldn't get my head around like, why are they, when a lot of them knew like I was the crazy English kid who, you know, drank loads and did this, that and the other. And I was like, why do they, I don't deserve this sort of thing. I don't tell people this, but this is what I was thinking in my mind. So yeah, just amazing people really softened me, bro, to have that encounter. So
amazing. So good. So like after you did have that encounter with Jesus, like how long before you realized, I suppose, understanding as well first what evangelism was, but then realizing, this is me, like this is what, because it is you, you know, like you get to that point where you're like, all right, this is what I'm meant to do. And you know, it's not like I'm not a full-time evangelist, but we are full-time evangelists in what we do, you know, and you are in whatever setting you're in, it just oozes out of you, you know. But so, tell me how that came. Like,
I mean, I know anyone watching this who is a Christian or not a Christian, just lean in, because this is really important that you hear this from a Christian, like real talk. Like, I believe Jesus Christ. Like when it came real to me, it doesn't matter what anyone else, when it became real to me, like I just had this collision of 21 years of brokenness, just come all at once, you know, so much brokenness. And it was the two things that are so important in life. It's your identity and it's your purpose. And a lot of people just kind of like ignore that this is a concept, a reality of life. But personally, I never thought about who am I, or what is the meaning of my life, or what am I supposed to do with my life? Which I think the last one is what most people think about and spend decades trying to find out. But yeah, I just feel like the reason why I believe Jesus is because he bled on a cross for me. And when I had that reality that he wanted to give me eternal life when this life is up, when he took all my wrongs and yet I hated him and slagged him off, I'm like, whoa, that unconditional love. I'm like, well, the least he deserves is me giving everything for him. And, you know, he sacrificed it all. So in a way, it is a sacrifice that I gave up some of my things and my lifestyle to be pleasing to him. And it gives me joy and delight. And, you know, you've got to gauge when people are ready to hear about Jesus. But I really feel like the time is now. And, you know, as an evangelist, like, you don't have to encourage me to share Jesus with people. It just comes out. And it's because he's given me that purpose, that sense of, right, your life is to love God and love people. As simple as that. Like, a lot of people make it more detailed. That's great. But love God and love people and love myself. Not in a prideful, narcissistic way, but just, and then the identity is, well, who am I? I'm Rory Green. I'm white. I'm 31 at the time. It was 2021. I'm English. I like football. I'm into women. I'm a Leeds fan. Oof. All, all these things. Like, but what does it come out for in the end? When you look back on your life and your legacy, what was it? What do you have to show for? And I found in him, my identity is a child of God. I'm a son of the King. I'm a son of God. She's accepted and loved. And I'm like, wow, like, man, no one's told me these things before the age of 20, 21. And when I did, I was just like fuming. I was like, why did no one tell me this? Why did no one tell me, like, Jesus died for my wrongs and I could have a purpose and identity? And just to touch on it lastly before I just keep waffling.
It's good.
I don't have anything to go back to. Since I came to that decision where it's real to me and, there's no going back and I believe Jesus, like, what does this go back to? The world had nothing to offer me consistent, a full, meaningful, for 20 years. So it's like, why would I not believe Jesus? Like, this is everything. So yeah, man, I just want to encourage people watching, like, wherever you're at in your life, just keep asking questions, keep seeking. God's not put off by your questions. There's so much more to always learn. And, I'm still learning what my purpose and identity is, but it's class because you're in a secure and safe place and you're on the right path and the right track. You still get horrible things come your way. This year's been the worst year of my life, but I'm still, look at me. No one have a clue what I've been through this year. I've been through some horrific things that I haven't spoken to my wife about to have a permission to talk about, but man, enough where I had, and I'll be real, people need to hear this as a Christian. And I think Christians need to hear this because we sugarcoat things and cover it up and go, yeah, praise the Lord, and then hide about how they feel. What they feel is real, but it's not their reality. I felt suicidal this year. I felt depressed this year. But I have a choice to make. Is this my reality? Is this my state? Or is this just a checkpoint that I'm going to walk through? And not to preach, and I'll be quiet after this a little bit. But Psalm 23 says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, it doesn't say, oh, I'm going to chill and camp and feel sorry for myself for ages. And, oh, my problems in life are too much for me. And, oh, I'm just going to think I'm just going to end it and all this. No. It says I walk through. So you have to come to a decision in your purpose and identity. What I said earlier, you have to come to a decision. You've got to have a decision to make as a child of the King or a potential child of the King. We're always creation. Are you going to walk through it or are you going to have a pity party? And I'm not knocking people's things. I've had some horrible things, but that's what God is to me. He's my helper, Sorry.
So good.
Going off on one. Psalm 122. Man. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? Help comes from the Lord. It don't come from people because people are flaky. I'm flaky. You're flaky. We're all flaky. We all got ups and downs. So yeah, man, I'm getting fired up. Hold me back.
Good. No, I'm not holding you back. It's great. So good. So you touched on a really important point for me. And I think I was always scared of the idea of depression or anxiety or even suicidal thoughts. Let's go there. Like, as Christians, we shouldn't feel like that because I grew up in a few different churches, but mainly like AOG Pentecostal, kind of quite traditional and quite, there's right and there's wrong, and you should be like this and you should be like, oh, you shouldn't be like this. And I actually get a guy say, don't should on yourself and don't should on your friends. Apparently Jesus never said the word should. So I love that.
I was literally about to say, who said that though? Who came up with you should what? And then you've just dropped a bomb on it. So, like,
don't should on yourself and don't should on your mates.
Yeah, man.
You don't have to. Yeah. So, but I kind of grew up as a teenager. I struggled so much with what I can identify now as anxiety and depression and even suicidal thoughts. And I know so many young men and women, struggle with stuff like that as well now. But I think there's a stigma to it that is amplified when you're a Christian. Like, I think as Christians, we shouldn't have those feelings because we have God. We shouldn't be depressed because we've got eternal life in God, and all these things. We're son, like you say, we're sons of God. We're sons of the King, and so we shouldn't be feeling like my life is why would I as a Christian feel like my life is worth nothing? I want to end it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, man.
do you want to chat a bit about your thoughts on that? Because I think it's something everyone struggles with.
You came on my show this week, man. I've put episode 2 yesterday, and you rebuked me without even knowing it. You rocked me, mate. You've changed part of my thinking. I'm all about that balance, bro. I'm just like, there's a balance in life, chaos, order, balance. And you're like, don't believe in it. No such thing. It's more rhythms. And I'm like, oh, okay. I like that. I'm not going to be like, what's he on about? Like on my show, telling me what's what and all this. But no, I'm making a point about the rhythm, because we go through different ebbs and flows and rhythms in life. And the most biggest command in the Bible is do not be anxious, do not be fearful. Because we shouldn't have it, because we should feel condemned, or we should have a pity party and overemphasize it. No, I just think God knew that it was going to be one of the biggest things we get under attack with. And I'm a bit of a weirdo. Like, whenever I get a cold, attack me. Whenever I get, allergic reactions flare up, or something's not going well for me, I call it an attack. I'm very careful what I say of myself, because with mental health and anxiety and depression, it's real. It's very real. There's no denying it. And as I say, it's like that rhythm of rolling through it, or in my words, sorry, mate, don't mean to offend, that balance of not feeling condemned that you are feeling that way and that you shouldn't, because you're a child of the King. It's just finding that place where yourself what triggers it, what yourself, or you're grown to develop to know what they are and how to get over it, how to overcome it. I just think we're always learning. I think the church is going through like a modern reformation. I'm not to get like deep there, but like, man, the church is metamorphosizing right now with social issues in the world, and being silent, and the lockdown, and the way we have been in particularly controlling people, and the whole mentoring thing is so important in life, but how we control and the words that we say, and it's all copied. And half the stuff, I'll be honest, I love the church, but some of the stuff the church say and do, it's not even in the Bible. They just make it up. It's a culture thing. And I'm like, what are you on about? But that's the beauty of the church. It's a growing, developing, nurturing bride of Christ. It's getting ready for the wedding day. So it just takes time. But yeah, man, I just think we're all learning. I think it's a wonderful time to be a Christian. It's a wonderful time to be acknowledging mental health and mindfulness, anxiety, depression, suicide. I think it's crucial. And I think we've got to create that environment and that culture where, again, that rhythm and balance of, we're not allowing people to even open up because they should. I feel like we've just ignored it, so people suffer in silence. We need to create that sense of prayerfulness and brothering and sistering, and offering windows of prayer and being vulnerable more and stuff like that. But then also it's like that culture of, no, man, you're just under attack. Like, you're gonna get through this. Like, this isn't your destination. So yeah, I don't know. That's my vibe about it all. It's a great time to be alive.
So good. So off the back of that, you've obviously you mentioned I was on your show Sunday night. It went out, and you're called Enlighten The Shadows. Do you want to explain what that is and how it came about as well? Like, why did you start this? What were you trying to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just back to what we said earlier about me being a deep guy. There's so much in this world, so much in people's minds, in society, that people just play a blind eye to. Whether that's a national government level, or and I'm not promoting conspiracy theories. I'm just saying, like, things leak and it leaves a trail. Agendas, personal issues, and I call that the shadows. Like, back to what I said earlier about attacks. Attacks come from evil forces. It's not good. What these things are, the nature of the content that we've chatted about last 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is, they're not good. It's evil. You're not the evil person. It comes from a source, and we know who that is, and I'm not going to give him any airtime. But this evil force roams to and fro in the world, and it goes through people, and it could go through me if I don't check myself. So yeah, it's the shadows, mate. These things lurk in the shadows, and I really wanted to create a platform where it's definitely focusing on men. This is the niche: men, mindfulness, mental health, and mentoring them, and a platform of media, right? But in the future, I want it to be a platform for freedom of speech and freedom of thought, because I see that under attack in the shadows. People not being allowed to express themselves and deemed scared that they shouldn't have an opinion because it might not be mainstream. And I'm just like, people have a voice, people have thought. And I think as amazing the 21st century is, there has been a shutdown on that. And I think that's where as well men struggle, because like they want to open up, they want to be real, they want to share their darkest thoughts, but they're like, well, is there any point? Is it safe? Is it going to get me anywhere? Am I going to look weak? So yeah, man, the shadows. So why Enlighten the Shadows as well is to bring light on them. You can only expose these things and stop hiding in the shadows and get freedom. That's the key. You can only get freedom unless you expose it for what it is and shine that light on it, mate. So yeah, I just think, back to my transparency and the deep nature that I've got. No, man, people don't like it. Cool, God bless you. But I'm just at a real chat and promote that culture in today's society, because otherwise we'll just be tiptoeing around. And I don't know. I just think it's wrong. We've got to respect each other's differences and have dialogue. As long as it's not genuinely hurting people and hateful and divisive, then I'm say how it is. Be honest. So that's Enlighten the Shadows. That's how
great.
it is.
So you're doing weekly, like a weekly show, and you're interviewing people, very similar to this kind of thing, I guess, but probably with a bit more structure.
It's all good. I love structure, and I prefer more freestyle. But yeah, mate, it's just weekly chats like this, 1-to-1, new guests every week, and getting real, chatting deep, creating that sense of an example to show we're putting it on the line here. Like this conversation is going to be viral on the internet, and that's it. It's out there, and so it shows to blokes who are in the shadows watching behind the screen. Oh yeah, man, I relate to that. Or wow, yeah, I struggle with that. Oh, I'm not the only one, sort of thing. So it's just providing that sense of refuge for particularly fellas, because yeah, I'm not a woman and I love women, and women are way better at communicating their feelings and being stronger. But as we know, females are struggling as well with their mental health. And I know of a person, I can't say much more than this, I know of a person who was a female that has passed away from killing herself. Can't go any more into that, but someone I know personally. Tragic. But you got to do what you have the credibility, the experience, and those kind of things to run with something. Like, I can't be all like, oh yeah, I'm helping women, because it's a bit like, well, you're a bloke, and that's cool. You can support women if you're a bloke, but I just think you've got to be niche with what you're going to do. So yeah, man, weekly meetings, unedited. Like, it comes out every Sunday night at 7:30, and I try and get the interview done in the week, just so I'm not stressing and I can enjoy it and put in all the graphics and all that stuff. But the actual chat, no editing, mate. No suppression. It's out there.
It's good. We had a great chat. It was good. I really enjoyed myself, and Yeah, it was awesome. Looking forward to seeing more of them, man.
I loved
Definitely.
it, mate. We had you honestly, you dropped some absolute corkers, mate. I was there writing in the the description of the video because I type up a Word document because I rewatch it, and I'm there like pausing. I'm like, man, like I can't fit all these in because you get a 5,000 word limit, don't you? So I was just Lewis, mate. But it was class because it was little snippet ones. It wasn't like, oh, here's a paragraph. Yeah, bro. So whoever's watching this, check out Enlighten The Shadows episode 2, Finding Purpose with my man Lewis Parfitt, because he was on
Definitely.
fire.
We'll put a link in the comments for sure. Go check that out and subscribe and hit the little bell thing so you get notifications too.
Nothing like suggesting a little promotion, but that's why we do it for. If you don't talk about it, there's no point recording it and going, oh well, people will find it. It's like you've got to put yourself out there, and it's not easy. Like it's hard for us to do this, but it's a privilege. And people who are watching, we're not trying to like hook you and bait you. We're just saying, look, please just like and subscribe and share, because the more people have that exposure, then it might just help that one person that if it's worth that one person helping.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly why we do it. And because I often think about it's like self-promotion, or it's literally, I just want content in these videos to be shared with people so that they feel they can learn something, even if out of an hour-long video there's one thing in there that if they can take away from it and that they can implement in their life to make a change for the better, for the more positive, then it's worth doing a million of these, like 100%,
I don't know. 100%.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
We just got that love in our hearts for people to have an option ultimately, and here's something that they can hopefully have freedom in.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. We're in a technocratic age. We're in an information age. Like, back to what I said earlier. Do you know what I said about the age of the church and like a new reformation? I think this pandemic, this lockdown has been fantastic for the church for all of us to catch up and get online and put ourselves out there to the world and use the internet for the right reasons, use social media for the right reasons. And, I've had people on Facebook, you can share a party, can't you? You can have a video and then you press share and then host a party. And I've had some people on my Facebook friend list, granted, now however long or little they've stayed in, they've joined. And I'm like, didn't expect them to come to church. And I'm just like, this is where it's at. So, I think that information age we're in, we've got to grasp that. And, I've been on the streets and I preach in the streets, and that's all good and well. And it's been effective, but you've just got to use as many tools as you can. And internet is just number one for me, isn't it? So
it's an amazing tool for sure. Absolutely. I was just thinking something and I completely forgot. But yeah, so cool. So let's backtrack a bit. Football. Like you're still doing football? Like what's the score with that?
Well, by myself in my house. I could play at a higher level, and that's not to be beginner. That's just honestly. But I lose my head a little bit when I get a higher level, and as in lose my head, as in I'm not true to my my real me, which is a son of God and representing him well. So I play in Nottinghamshire in a fairly decent amateur level, and absolutely love it, mate. It's my gift at the end of the day. Like God's given me that to glorify him, meaning I play not for myself to look good, but I play that in how I play and the way I represent myself, that if I do well, then naturally that's going to create a bit of buzz and people just befriend you naturally. When you play football, you're like, they're just like, oh yeah, man, he's all right, he's decent or whatever. But I think there's that, and it hooks people in, just that acceptance almost. But I'm intentional with my football as well. I don't mind if people watch this who are part of Stapleford Town Football Club in Nottingham, but I'm there because it's not, again, it's that deep superficial thing. I'm not there just to play football. I love football. I need to play football. It's like a release, like catharsis is released for me. But I'm in there to be intentional because I want to love on people, man. Yeah. I've got a couple of really good close friendships in that team. And I just got so much love for them. And like, it doesn't matter they're not Christian. I just like, yeah, I'm just there for them in whatever way they want me to. And one of them is going to be my guest in my next week's show. And amazing. His story's class, man. Like, he's done all sorts, and this lockdown's changed his life. So,
wow,
we're just like getting real, quite intentional with what you said on my episode about that brothering, and you know that brothers are born in adversity, and we've just found ourselves getting closer, and that's what it's about. It's like, yeah, have the banter, yeah, have the superficial, have the pub chat, but I'm like, for me, it's got to be a bit more than that, and it's not like an agenda. Oh, yeah, man, let's hook him in, make him a Christian. Like, I can't do anything. It's up to him and God whether he wants to be a Christian. But yeah, that's how I roll, mate. I love playing football. It's class. I'm still passionate about it. Still give it everything. And
do you think so? So do you because sometimes I think there's phases in my life where, you know, I associate certain behaviors and actions for myself with periods of my life, and so, you know, do you think if you had become a Christian at a younger age, that playing professional football would have been easier as a Christian rather than having played, you know, a professional football, I guess, as a non-Christian? Then the idea of going back into that world now as a Christian, is that more am I making sense? Is it more difficult, do you think, to go back into a world you were in as a non-Christian before you were a Christian?
Yeah.
And then does that make sense?
It does, yeah. It's hard to say, but I'll give my best honest answer. Like, I feel that life is hard enough as it is, and I feel that I was holding it together as it was when I wasn't a Christian in the football world, and football was my release. And if I were to go back to it as a non-Christian, I think I would lose myself, probably better actually. But as a Christian now and playing, it's a joy. But there's that sense of intentionality, because I can lose myself. I can get right into it, and I could be absolutely screaming at the ref, and you know, I potentially could swear, and I'm like, whoa, still possible. So it's hard. It's hard. I'm not, you know, no one try to empathize or have sympathy for me. That's not what I'm saying. It like, it's between me and God, but it's not easy as a Christian playing football and in say a non-Christian team, because you're different. They know, you know. I've had some clubs. Every club I've been at's been great. I have some people in that club take the mick and dig me out. And they almost like test me to see if, is he going to nibble? Is he going to bite? Is he going to bite? I'm like, no, I've had it worse, mate. And when they realise that, he's, and I'm not saying some Christians are weirdos, that's just, the world thinks that way. They just get freaked out. I think Christians are weirdos. Like, but yeah, they sniff me out. I love people who aren't Christians. They can sniff out BS when they can sniff it, and they're not grey. They're black or white about issues, and they can see through people if they're genuine or not. And then people just know that it's a presumption. Most people think that I'm genuine, and there's no agenda there, and they accept me that I am different and that I have got my faith. And it does make them laugh sometimes with some of the things that I say. Like, I always remember some of the lads like laugh at me because I'm like, oh, frick, because I say frick instead of saying the obvious F word choice. Or like, someone be screaming for me to square the ball for a FIFA sweaty tap-in goal. And I'll bang it in, and I'm like, oh, and I can hear him screaming. I still scored, and then I'm like, oh, mate, I'm sorry, bro, I'm sorry. And he's like, shut up, you idiot. What are you sorry for? He scored. You know, just things like that. Or like the ball clipped off me and it's their ball, and all my team like, ball, and I'm like, no, and I tell the ref it came off me, and then he gives it to them, and everyone's like, some people are like, what are you doing, Rory? And I'm just like, no, man, I don't. If we go and score as a result of not getting the right decision, and if that was the other way around on me, I'd be fuming. So I'm like, I guess it's that principle of Jesus, do to others as you want them to do to you. So yeah, it's not easy because there's a culture difference. We've got Christian lad, and we do what the frick we want. Like, we'll say what we want. I can't go into details of the content of the stuff that the lads talk about in the change room or whatever, but it's then having that sense of, I'm holy, so I don't get involved with it, but I'm not going to turn my nose at it and walk out the room or look at them like with judgmental looks, because they don't know any better. That's just the way they want to live their life, sort of thing. So yeah, man, I don't know if that answers the question, but I personally feel it's tougher as a Christian than if it would be if I came back into it if I wasn't, or back when I was younger. I just think there's more on the line.
Yeah.
People can even pick you out, can't they, and go, "Oh, look what you did." Whereas when you're not a Christian, people don't give a flip. They're just like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah. Do you find people talk to you more about? I mean, I don't know how many, if they open up much at all. But do you think people find it easier to come to you to talk about issues because they know you're a Christian? Do you feel that makes a difference?
I don't want to be presumptuous and think that I know that every topic of all the other lads' interactions or whatever, but I would say that they know that I am there to talk deeper, as we refer to, and that I'm there to help them, and I do, and I've had people do that, and I've prayed for a few of them, and God moved and helped them, and yeah, I feel like I am that outlet, and I don't mind that. Like, it's a privilege. I don't see it as a burden, but yeah, I think more of the small talk and the banter and all that, and it's not that I don't get involved with that, because I do if it's appropriate, but like that's more what they get up to and amongst themselves. And then you've got the other side where there's a timing for it as well. Like, I don't go around like offering my services or prayers to people like a chaplain, but I think, you know what I'm saying? I think they know that I'm there, and they do come to me because they know that I'm not going to look at them funny about it. They feel comfortable. And that's not an easy thing to do. It takes time, it takes trust, it takes consistency, and it takes love. Yeah. And I know that's a big combination of lots of hard things, but if you can get that right in your hobby or your clubs that you go to or your friendship circles, if you can combine all those aspects as a Christian, I feel like our audience is like a Christian audience, but yeah, I just think that they'll see that. And then when the time's right, they'll all come to you. And sometimes it requires you to step out, like you to see it, like the perception of thoughts that I said about Jesus, you to see it, you to have the words to say, and then have the courage, and then just allow Holy Spirit to encourage you the words to say. And yeah, man.
It's great. So we've got a question on the YouTube chat from Daniel. He's up north as well, in Bradford. He is saying, what would you say to someone who is in crisis but doesn't want to talk about it? Great question, Dan.
Well, the first point I'd make is that they are not in denial. So they're self-aware. And that is the most important step of all sense of mental health or grief or any type of suffering. If you're in denial and you're not self-aware, then it feels hopeless and helpless. But the fact that he said that if you feel like you are, and you're not ready to share, I feel that you don't want to be exposed or feel vulnerable to trust someone with that information. So my best advice would be, and I put this in my video, it's a group called Men Unite, and it's a Facebook group, and it's a closed private group. And there might be one day people who I know in my friendship circles are on there, but there's like a sense of you're anonymous because it's like strangers, and therefore you feel like this is a big step, by the way, that you can post on there and share that feeling, or check someone out on that page and inbox them, message them privately. That would be my advice, because if you don't, and it's like a big step, isn't it? You don't dare tell your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend or your fiance or a family member or a brother or even a close mate, because it's just like, oh shoot, and you just feel trapped, don't you, Dan? Is it Dan? Yeah, you feel paralyzed, but you've got to be brave to make that little step. And I feel like these groups, these mental health groups that are picking up, Andy's Man Club is another. I'm looking to to grow within Enlighten The Shadows and create a safe Facebook space. It's not to cotton wool people in this age, but it's for people like myself and Lewis and Dan, like as you mentioned, mate. It's creating that sense of that next step, and so that you don't stay in that hopelessness or helplessness that you don't feel that you can't talk about and you're not ready. But it's that next option where it's not as intense and it's not going to just be between me, myself, and I, where you can't really, unless you're a believer and you tell God, then you just stuck where you are. And I don't want that for no one. So I hope that answers the question, and that's what I personally believe as a safe next step to building that courage and that strength, because you get strength from vulnerability and weakness. That's what I found in my life. But Dan, you're clever because you understand that it's about trust, as I said earlier, and trust is massive. And I've seen it personally. It's awful. You can trust someone with this kind of sensitive information, and to say if it leaks, it's almost unrepairable. So yeah, if that's you or if that's a friend, just want to encourage you, bro. Just step out, get on like an anonymous chat. You can even call people like Samaritans. And again, it's just a one-to-one chat where you don't know them, they're a stranger and they're professionally trained. That would be my advice. Yeah.
Sound, man. That's good. So I have to apologize to Daniel. He's in Lancashire, not Bradford. So is that?
Oh, War of the Roses, mate. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm half Mancunian.
Burnley. I think Burnley. That's Lancashire, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Burnley. He's in Burnley. Yeah. Cool. Good. One of them. Burnley, Bradford.
What a good question, though. That was massive.
Yeah, it was a really good question. He's saying we should put a link in the chat as well, so I'll make sure I get the Facebook link and put it in the chat for everyone to grab. So he's laughing at me. It's great, mate. That's great. So what's next for you? Like, what are you most looking forward to in this coming year?
Well, I'm waiting for that job, as I said, as a plastic copper, and I got a call off a close brother of mine who's a carpet fitter, really solid one, and he just came to Christ this year. He gave me a call up today. All right, brother, how you doing? Yeah, all right. He's like, you want to come do some labour for me tomorrow? I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. So I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, just getting back into some hard graft and work. But this year, man, to be more specific, is to help as many people as I can, but being rhythmic and balanced with my responsibilities as a husband, as a potential father to be, should Sharice get pregnant this year. And that's one of my big passions this year is for us to at least conceive and have our miracle child or children for sure. And to just build on Enlighten The Shadows, like unashamedly, and I say this, like it's 100% to help people, but to monetize it, that it would have enough clout and people knowing that my heart is to help people, that people just go, I'm putting my money where my mouth is here. I'm investing in this. I'm here. I'll bang and have that. I guess by the end of 2020, have that transition where I'm still doing my job as a CPO and enjoying it, but I don't know, maybe in 2021, long term, I don't know, it could be 5 years, however long it takes, God willing, that I can, I don't know, just get a team around me, bro, and have people get on board with Enlighten The Shadows and make it bigger. And we've got a great logo that I've designed on Photoshop, not to be biased, but I think it's good. And build that brand, and like you're doing an amazing job with Revive, that kind of that vibe. And so yeah, man, it didn't sound like I asked for much, did it? But it was. But I believe in a big God, and a lot of people think this year's a write-off, and I've seen it. Oh yeah, I'm like, no, man, this year's not even halfway just yet. Until I said this to someone the other day, until it's the 23rd hour on the 31st December and the 59th minute and the 59th second, it ain't over. It's not over. And so I've just got this hope inside me that God is still going to do great things in my life, and I have to, because if I don't, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Get myself in a rut. I can be depressed. I can feel this way, and I'm not walking through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm camping there, and go, oh yeah, 2020, and feeling sorry for myself. It's like, well, 2020, the actual physical time, nature, and the calendar didn't do anything bad to me. It's an events of circumstances that have come my way. I've been out of work since end of February, early March. I should have started my job in March. But I didn't let it dictate my life and my joy. So yeah, man, 2020, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and she ain't.
So good. Something you remind. I remember this preacher called Ray Bevan. He's still around, great guy, and proper valleys. Good thick Welsh accent, but a real fiery preacher. He was great. And I remember him preaching he was a pastor in a church in Newport when I was a teenager, and he used to say this: when you're going through hell, don't stop, keep going. And I was like, oh, it's such a simple thought, but it's when you're going through hell, keep going, because you'll come out the other side, and it's I don't know. You should get up, get over it, get on with it. That was it.
Yeah, and the getting over it bit is not for us to go, oh, you don't understand me, or and then get angry and react to it. It's like, no, respond to that. Yeah. You will get over it, but it takes time. Yeah. It's like when you get pied off by a lass and she breaks your heart. It's horrible. And the last thing you want to hear is, oh, it just takes time, mate. Oh, you want to but that's a thought. That's not something you do. But the point is, you've got to get over it, because if you don't, you won't.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we've got to. Yeah, we got to. Some people call it positive thinking and all that, but words are powerful, and our declarations are powerful. And if we're in control of our own voice. And I said earlier, I'm massive with my what I say over myself. So important what you say.
Yeah.
Are you literally saying, I am depressed, I am no good, I am anxious? Well, guess what your reality is, sunshine. And until you change your thinking, the Bible says, do not be conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Unless you do that, unless you repent, which is not to go, oh, you're evil, it's to turn 180 degrees the other way. As you turn around, change your mind, that's your reality. So yeah, man, it's that rhythm, it's that balance of grace and love and empathy, but that sense of masculinity and being like, yeah, man. David, I think was it in Proverbs or Psalm, said, a righteous man may fall 7 times, but he gets back up. And we need more men like that.
Yeah.
And that comes from your amazing tattoo on your chest. When one's down, pick them up, because it swings in roundabouts, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Mate,
I'm
so good.
Fire, aren't I? I'm like just picking on people today.
I love it, mate. It's been so good to chat. I think we can call it there. But mate, thanks so much for your time. Really, really appreciate you. Love what you're doing, and so guys, make sure you check out Enlighten The Shadows on YouTube. Do you have a Facebook page?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm just YouTube in a minute. Creating the crowd. There will be a time into it, but I've got Instagram and Twitter.
Yes. Yep. Cool. So Enlighten The Shadows, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and check out the videos on Sunday evenings. And awesome, mate. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute blast.
Bless you, brother, and thank you everyone watching. It was class. I had a good time.
Cool. We'll be back next week to everyone else, and we'll have another guest, which will be announced in a week. And we hope to see you all again really, really soon. Take care. Have a great week, and look after yourself. Stay safe.